In the pandemic time, when the entire world was struggling for the lack of medicines and vaccines, in that time India has exported vaccine and medicines to more than 100 countries, and it had grabbed the attention for its strong pharmacological industry. But do you know this fact that we have a good pharma industry, but we don't have good research and development for the pharma industry, and that's why we are facing this problem. Hello friends, welcome to the InNews series of Drishti IAS. I am Ritu, and today's session is about what are the new FTA rules and why it is going to be threat for the Indian generic industry. So moving towards the points of discussion part. First of all, we are going to discuss the news, then we are going to discuss Indian scenario, then we are going to find out the balanced solution. Then we are also going to discuss the data exclusivity related to this particular matter and also practice question for prelims. And before that, you have to like, share and subscribe to the Drishti IAS channel. Moving to the news part. So there is a group, or you can say that intergovernmental organization whose name is FTA, European Free Trade Association, in which 4 countries are member of it: Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway and Switzerland. And they made their partnership with the other countries, and they had made their partnership with India also. And they had come up with few agreements and few clauses which is going to be a difficulty problem for the India and threat for the Indian generic industry. So that's why this is the news we are going to discuss, and we are also going to discuss that what are the clauses we have which can create problems for the Indian drug industry. Moving to the next slide, which is Indian context. So earlier what we have done that we have good pharma industry, we already know that. That's why we produce lots of generic drugs and we also export to the other countries. So this is the India's pharma industry. But what is the problem with the India's pharma industry? That we have good manufacturing branches and we manufacture a lot of drugs and a lot of medicines, but we don't have good research and development. For research and development, we will be dependent on the various European countries and other Western countries. And on the basis of their research, their trial data, we manufacture our drugs, we manufacture our medicines, and we make medicines and we export to the other countries. So this is the scenario India have. But right now we have this another clause. And what is the another clause? That earlier we used to take data from the Western countries, their labs, their researches, and we manufacture. But right now the new regulation has come, and the new regulation says that if you want to manufacture your own drugs, you can take the formula which has been produced by the Western countries, but for the trial data, you have to show your own data. And for the effective drugs manufacturing, you have to show that what is the trial data. So for trial data, India had to make their own research and development branch, and they had to research a lot for the trial. So that's the problem it has occurred. And earlier we have this patent rights, and maybe it could be passed in 6 months. But right now, this thing can extend up to the 6 years, which can be a problematic for the manufacturers of the Indian drugs and generic drugs, because if you manufacture any drug in a less number of time and you don't have to pay for the research and development, then the cost of the whole medicine becomes very less and it is inexpensive in nature. But when you have to develop your research and development thing, and you have to research on a particular trial data, and then you collect data from that research and development, then you manufacture the medicine, then it will be a problematic for any country, and might be it will take more time to manufacture any drug. And India is a country which has a few serious and severe problems, just like we have a huge population of cancer, we have a huge population of TB, malaria, dengue, and we fastly develop various generic drugs. And because of that, we also export to the other countries also, and that's why we can say that our pharma industry is very strong also. So that will be a threat to Indian drug industry, because they had to set up a separate branch for the research and development. So this is the whole scenario I have explained, and that's why it is going to be problematic for all of us. here this this clause is not applicable to the new chemical drug. It is also applicable to the biologics drug. And what is the biologic drug? So it is a monoclonal antibodies vaccines formulation that involves complex mixture of organic and inorganic entities, and it's very difficult to make copies of it. So in all these new clauses are applicable to the biologic drugs, and if all these clauses are applicable to the biologic drugs, and it's already a difficulty for that, you cannot make easy copycat of these drugs. And if you have this kind of research and development problems, data problem, then it will take another time, and maybe the patients will suffer, the pharma industry will suffer. So this will be also impact on the health sector of India and also the economic sector of the country. Moving to the another one. So what is the current stance of India pharma industry? So at present, India pharma industry is the third largest in the world, and it produces more than 60,000 generic drugs across 60 therapeutic categories. And what is the annual turnover from all these pharma industry? So our annual turnover is of rupees 3.4 lakh crore, which is huge. And India has also come up with the Jan Aushadhi scheme, and because of the Jan Aushadhi scheme, we can see that affordable medicines and affordable drugs are available at your nearby stores. So this is a very good policy in order to make vaccines and drugs and medicine available to the marginalized section of the society. So this is the current stance of India, that India produces a affordable version of various medicines, and it also supplies to the other countries because they are very less in the number. So this is the patented rights for any country. If any drug is patented, then it has the patent right of 20 years, and after 3 years of confirmation, India can make copycat version of that particular drug. But right now that situation is going to be changed, and maybe it will take more time, and India had to invest a lot in research and development, and we don't produces much scientists into that arena, which had focused much on that what are the trial benefits and what are the impacts of a particular medicine. So India had to look all this pharma industry into a very new angle, or into from a very new direction. So that will have also problem of the talent hunt, and also the problem of the economic sector, because you have to invest a lot in the research and development. You have to set up the universities, you have to set up the labs, you have to be very clear about the data. So this is the problem we are facing right now. And data exclusivity, we already have talked about that. Data is required, and that data is a very complex process, because you for certain drugs you have to wait 2-3 years, maybe for certain drugs 6 years also, and you cannot publish data of another country, especially the European and Western countries. So in that situation, the data exclusivity is another concern. Moving to the next one, which is practice question for prelims. So which of the following country is not part of FTA? And your options are Norway, Iceland, Switzerland and France. So we already had discussed in the intro part, so you are able to answer this effectively. And for the mains, you have to also think that we have become the third largest pharma industry of the world, but why we have not developed our arena into research and development? And India is not lacking the research and development in terms of the pharma industry or medical industry. India is lacking in various industries. So it's high time that India need to produce their research and development sector, and they had to focus on the research and development of various medicines and other engineering sectors. We could not dependent on other countries and their data and their trial efficiency. So in this sector, India had to look from the new directions, and government of India must think that research and development is key to any sectoral development. So it's very important to set up a unique or special branch for every sector, and for every sector there should be the promotion of research and development. So I hope you like this session. If you have any queries related to this session, kindly ask in the comment section. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.